so Global is going to be getting the long-awaited MAKI, green MAKI. Now, I've only recently looked into this character on JP because I just recently got her. I've already done my video on looking at this character, and what a fantastic green DPS character, of course. And then, of course, beside her, you will get another green DPS character, KUGASAKI, of course. So you've got two good green DPS characters releasing back to back. So again, it comes down to do you want to pull for both? Do you want to pull for one of them? Or maybe skip both of them because maybe there's a green unit that's going to be releasing after them. Once again, falling in line of being DPS potential for the green typing, of course. So we'll go over that in just a second. I'll go over the kit and then I'll give my thoughts on what I would suggest and what not, of course. But before all of that, of course, yeah, the feature of the wish list for Global will be happening. So pretty much you log on in, and then on a specific day, I don't know if you guys can see that, you get a free character. So out of the choosing of, well, in this image it shows you choose one of the 6 specified SSR characters or recollection bits this month. Oh, so this is on a monthly basis. So I think what's going to happen is every month they'll switch this up. So I think for this month, this is a solid recollection card for support. This is a good recollection card for skill 3 buff. I forgot what this recollection card does. But in terms of character, if you need blue power nuking, then you got the blue Gojo to have access to. In terms of the remaining 2 characters, I would cater to Itadori next, only because with half anniversary around the corner for Global, the SP potential system will be added, and Itadori's SP potential makes him like SS tier, straight up. So if you are in need of a green DPS, Itadori's SP potential makes him one of the best day 1 characters with their SP potential. MAKI unfortunately still holds undervalue, so, and plus with red units, Yuta, Toji, and when Yuta gets his buff, you know, you're going to be catering to that as your main DPS. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. If you guys want to go over these characters and their wish lists, unless you want the recollection card, but I think most people would want to cater to characters and whatnot. Also, keep in mind with Gojo and the Itadori, depending on if you need blue or green DPS, once you get them, you can then use the shop itself to gain dupes for them. So, FYI, when the SP potential came out, the first character that I SP completed was Itadori. Done my video on him. Fantastic. One of the best green DPS characters you can get your hands on. Does give you a little bit of leniency of being like, cool, got my green DPS sorted. I can chill and rely on, or not rely, but go about getting other characters, and then at a later time, maybe more green DPS comes my way. AKA, I don't know, maybe the green Mekamaru, because he's also up there on par with like this SP potential Itadori. So just kind of want to go over the 3 characters and what I would suggest and what I would look at. So it will be between the 2 boys, so just putting it out there. But on a monthly basis it will switch up, so it's a nice way to kind of yeah, help out the free-to-play. So I'm definitely probably going to be getting my boy Itadori since I've already got Gojo, and I need green firepower. I need a lot of it, so I'm catering to my SP potential Itadori on my global account. Also, okay, let's get into what is happening now. So like I said, MAKI and KUGASAKI are up for debate. So if you haven't seen the video, I've already done a video on the MAKI. You're more than welcome to check it out. You can see her potential, fantastic character, can't go wrong with it. High on the offensive, so obviously with her first skill, she's all about that melee taijutsu, doing 210, 2 hits. When critical hit is performed, she makes it so that the enemy takes more taijutsu damage by 30%. It's on for 3 turns, and it's very effective with green typing. So having this MAKI, and if you've got the half-year anniversary Ghetto, combo wombo, that's all I'll say on that part. Combo wombo, very nice. Again, you can utilize this character with Itadori if you want to maximize your double up damage. You know, taijutsu is at play right now with the green typing. I guess green Gojo can also, wait, does green Gojo have taijutsu? Yeah, I think he does. He's got one of his attacks, so I guess if you want to utilize that, you can do so. But anywho, continuing on, going on to the second skill right now. So again, increases own damage by 20%. It's a one-time deal, so you're really only going to be benefiting from the second skill. The less enemies that there are within the wave, the greater the damage boost, up to 100%. So with this MAKI, realistically, in a boss situation, she is phenomenal, straight up. And with this attack, if you are hitting multiple enemies, or if you're hitting just an enemy in general, they are going to be also getting Taijutsu damage received by 15%. Again, more effective for green typing, hence why I'm more lenient to say Geto and Itadori, of course. And then of course you do melee damage of 230. Again, this is max level, so keep that in mind. It's a 2-hitter, AoE damage on the second skill. Also keep in mind Maki doesn't have any cursed energy play, so that's a bit of a W. And then lastly, the third hit, this is where you will get your beautiful buffs. So she'll have her break damage increased by 300%, again if you can max it, so cater to that. She also gives herself a critical hit rate of 100%, and that's on for 3 turns, by the way, so that, in correlation to the first skill, it's going to be beautiful. So that way you can maximize the Taijutsu debuff towards the enemy. You should be able to stack it with the third skill too, because that buff on the debuff on the first skill is on for 3 turns, so you can really stack up and pile on a 45 Taijutsu damage received towards the enemy. And then of course she does 181, so this is more so for the buff than it is for the damage, but the damage I will say is pretty decent too from the third skill that I've managed to accomplish. And then lastly, with the ultimate, you do give yourself a damage increase of 50%. Again, the higher the HP you have, the greater the damage boost, so you just got to keep that in mind. So you get a 150 boost at max, but with Maki it's more so of having more HP, so a bit of a stipulation of the HP side of it. But again, as long as Maki doesn't get touched, or you've got something to provide her with more HP back before going into her ultimate, you should be okay, and you should be able to maximize the damage output that she can produce, which is a disgusting amount, by the way. And then on this one she deals for 959% damage. With the combination, she gives a damage increase towards her and the combo ally, and then on top of that, the other 2 characters will get their ultimate gauge filled by 110. She has the early bird passive, so at the start of every wave she gives herself a Taijutsu damage increase of 10% along with a damage received of a 7%. And then she has the heavenly restriction, so at the start of the battle increases own Taijutsu by 15%. The lesser the enemies, the more damage you can boost, up to 30%. Decreases damage received by 8%. And then at the start of each turn recovers 2% of her HP, of course. This is kind of like a generic Maki thing. The same thing's on the blue Maki, of course. So again, in a single target boss situation, this Maki is disgusting. Disgusting. In the Taijutsu and just looking at the green team building that you can do, Taijutsu support is probably high up there for what green typing has. So yeah, this Maki really is cooking. Again, I've done my video, I've said my piece. This is by far one of my favorite Makis. Obviously the blue Maki, the newest one that we've had, she's cooking, but the green one will always cater to, well, yeah, the green one will always be a fan favorite of mine in terms of green, for my green mono, that is. Again, just an FYI, I will be going and doing their own individual videos and showing you guys how they are, because obviously with how they are on JP, it will be the same for global, since they've not have any buffs. KUGASAKI, another fantastic DPS character. So again, with KUGASAKI, doing melee damage equal to 30% of Taijutsu as well as 70% of Jujutsu. Increases the selected enemy's Taijutsu damage received by 5%. This is on for 5 turns. It's only a little amount, but every little helps, I guess. And you guys are starting to see the theme of the whole Taijutsu and whatnot, so there's that. But thankfully with this KUGASAKI, she does kind of, you know, split it in 2 ways. So second skill, once again, 90% Taijutsu, 148 Jujutsu. This time around, she is increasing the enemy's Jujutsu damage received by 16%. So coverage on both Taijutsu and Jujutsu, of course. And then the third skill, again, doing 115 on Taijutsu, 197 on Jujutsu. It's a 2-hitter as per usual. This time around you are giving yourself a 20% damage dealt increase, so there's that. And then the ultimate itself deals 1318 to the selected enemy, deals soul damage, of course. So it's a big hitter with the ultimate, of course, but there's no form of correlation to how the previous KUGASAKI works in terms of you can build it up to do some nuking power potential, of course. Same again with the combination. You and the ally will get Jujutsu damage, as well as the remaining other 2 allies will then get their ultimate gauge filled up by 120. Passive, weakening Jujutsu attack. So at the start of the battle, you give yourself a Taijutsu and a Jujutsu damage increase by 20%. The more debuffs the enemy has, the higher the Taijutsu damage and Jujutsu damage increase, up to 260%. So that's the catch. That's the catch. The debuffs that you can apply are on for 2 turns, but you got to keep in mind with the first skill, it stays on for 5 turns. So you can actually stack it up and get something. Well, yeah, you can really get that passive cooking up. Debuffs and statuses without a turn or time limit are not counted, so that's a bit of a bummer, a bit of unfortunate, but makes sense. And then of course, if Black Flash is performed, it grants Jujutsu damage special to self for 6 turns. So it recovers own cursed energy by 15, and then the Jujutsu damage increases by 45%. So you get 15 cursed energy back recovery, as well as 45% Jujutsu damage increasing. So pretty much, again, furthermore, they're both the girls are working off debuffing, of course. With KUGASAKI, she is feeding off the debuff, allowing her to basically nuke through the ultimate, but in a debuffing format rather than just applying nails, specifically nails as a debuff, or as a counter, should I say, towards the end. If you're a dolphin, if you're a whale, they're worth the pickup. I can't sit here and be like, yeah, you should consider saving. I mean, realistically, I mean, you can go about it and cater to others, but in reality, these are very, very solid green DPS characters, especially with, you know, what they provide. Between the two, I would be more lenient towards MAKI, just because of yes, they both do work off debuffing the enemy. If that all else fails, MAKI does have a bit of a back burner to be like, right, if there's a single target on the field, I'm still benefiting from that 30%, so you're still getting something out of it rather than nothing out of it. Whereas KUGASAKI, she heavily relies on debuffing the enemy. If you can't debuff the enemy, then she's basically a flatline. I mean, you'll get some decent damage out from her ultimate. That's, you know, you're not going to take that away. But in order to maximize her damage output, the enemy needs to be stacked with debuffs. And if you can't do that, then in reality, she's just a bit of a wet wipe. But the ultimate still does decent chip damage. But MAKI, on the other hand, on top of that, of course, you can keep up with the consistency through her attack due to there not being any cursed energy at play, right? There's also that. But no, between the two girls, MAKI is just, in my opinion, slightly ahead of KUGASAKI. So MAKI would be the better choice to get your hands on, just because of coverage on just situations that you're going to be put in, of course, and just to get in more out of. There's just a little bit more value for MAKI herself. But again, both amazing characters. KUGASAKI with that debuff going into that ultimate, and let me tell you, that nuking is going to be beautiful. KUGASAKI in the games are just all about that nuking, right? We know this, so it's a bit of a theme, bit of a common theme. But both these girls are very up to par. I just think that MAKI is just a tad bit ahead, but they're both basically pretty similar, like on par. Now, with that being said, again, if you're free to play and whatnot, I've already specified, you know, go about using the green Gojo if you can manage to pull him. If not, that's fine. Itadori will get his SP potential, so you can utilize that as your main green DPS, because Itadori SP, in my eyes, is some would say on par with MAKI as well as KUGASAKI. I would say slightly higher because of the consistency of the crits of Black Flash, as well as he can practically get his ultimate. Once the ball starts rolling for the SP potential, Itadori, he gets his ultimate so consistently at a ridiculous rate. So it's just, yeah, he's on the ball, rolling non-stop Black Flashes, crits and whatnot. So it's just beautiful, and his damage output is beautiful too. So that's what I would suggest. Now, with all that being said, if you are really looking into on trying to maximize on getting your green DPS, after these characters there is going to be another green DPS, which I'm just going to throw in and say, if you want to savor for a better green DPS to come, it will be this Fushiguro. This Fushiguro outbeats these two in my personal opinion. So if you are interested in maximizing your green DPS potential, it will be this Fushiguro to be at play. Like I said, I'll do my KUGASAKI showcase and I'll do my MAKI showcase and go further more in depth about these characters, but I just kind of want to do like an overall look with the 3 characters that we're getting and how that's going to help us out in terms of setting us up with like green damage, since green typing right now is the main theme that Global will be seeing.